The first thing is that it's a sort of all-inclusive piece of music. There are a lot of piano students here, obviously, but also a lot of dance students, art students, media students, IT students. And this seemed an ideal opportunity, really, to get lots of different sort of branches of the arts involved. Also, some people, especially pianists, they tend to sort of, you play on your own a lot, solo music. This is a chance to sort of feel part of a group. So even though you are actually playing solo, you are one of many. 35 pianists, each doing sort of half an hour each. And that's quite a nice feeling for somebody who plays a solo instrument, to be part of something that is much bigger than themselves. It really is a showcase. This piece is performed on a regular basis throughout the world, and it's become quite a cult sort of thing, really. And more often than not, it's just performed purely as a piano solo piece. There's nothing else. It's not a visual thing at all. It's an oral thing. And I think that this piece actually lends itself to lots of other facets of the arts. And the idea that you can get dance students to choreograph something, to get some movement involved, and also to have an artist who is making or creating some form of artwork over the length of the whole piece. This piece actually changes throughout its duration, depending on obviously who's playing it. But if you've been listening to it for a while, you actually go off into a slightly different frame of mind. So you start to hear things in it that perhaps weren't apparent initially. And also perhaps if you have a break from it and then you come back, you come to it fresh, or so your perception is constantly changing. It's a very bizarre piece of music in that respect.
I'm Kathy Childs, I'm Head of Dance at the University of Chichester, and I've been involved with the dance with the Vexation project. We first met nearly a year ago when Jonathan Plowright came to talk to both myself and Steve McDade, who's Head of Fine Art. And this is when the project emerged that there were going to be the three parts, obviously the piano soloists going on in the centre, with dance spatially going on towards stage right, and the artwork happening on the left. So I've been working with initially 4 dancers who you might be able to see working at the moment, and I took the idea. My background is very much in looking at Cunningham technique, Merce Cunningham, and he worked with John Cage, and Cage was the first person who, in I think it was about 1949, he played the Vexation for the full length. And so I'm really, the way I've looked at the dance part of it is I've been very much looking at how dance, music, art coexists in a space, and dance is very much looked at here in time and space, and actually we're quite restricted in space, so despite the fact we're using lots of space in here, we will be quite restricted in our space. Movement-wise, what I've looked at is the score and how originally it was worked at in squares. So it's very much this idea of tension, and this is quite an active part of it, but some of it is more to do with time passing and pulling out of time, and this is reflected through the movement.
My name's Jez Stevens. I'm an associate lecturer in the Fine Art Department at Chichester University. And I was asked at a meeting whether or not I'd heard about Vexations, and I was very interested in the project from the start. And there was talk about having a grid of wooden blocks that somebody on step ladders and a bowler hat may go and sort of post into this framework. And I sort of naively said, well, we could do that with a video animation. It's a portrait of Erik Satie, which I've cut up into 840 blocks and then scattered them at random through the animation. And the idea is that as the performance progresses, as the blocks disappear, you'll see an image of Erik Satie underneath, which actually looks like that. I'm looking forward to the event, and I've got to go and find myself on those camping beds, because as interesting as the project is, I'm not sure if I can watch it solidly for 18 hours and not have a bit of a lie down at some point. I expect some of the pianists will be as well. So.